Good morning, everybody. This is Mitch. Hopefully, you're having a great start to your Wednesday morning and a great work week so far. I got you an update on what is now the ongoing winter storm across portions of the country. I'm going to give you an update on what's going on right now as of 6:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then give you an update on what's going to happen going forward and take a look at the latest HRRR model for the entire life of this storm just about. And then at the end of the video, stay tuned. We're going to talk about what the latest overnight and morning guidance is showing for that Carolina winter weather threat, and the potential for 4 weekends in a row for some folks in the Carolinas to see some form of winter weather. There's still a ton of question marks on that, and we'll get more specific on that here in the coming days. But if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. Consider joining if you haven't. It's just a way to help out monthly, and I got 15, 16 incredible members who have done that. But just thank you all for the amazing support. I woke up this morning feeling more grateful than ever, and it's just such an awesome reality that I'm living right now, and it's all because of y'all. So I'm very appreciative of everything y'all have done for me. I really am. Social media links over there is a great way to stay up to date with the latest and greatest information. Twitter, Facebook, definitely hit me up on there. But what we got going on here is a massive area of winter storm warning stretching all the way from south central Texas all the way up into the northeast. And you got winter storm watches still up for certain areas where there's still a little bit of a question mark, where they can have a little bit of a wiggle room. But here comes these ice storm warnings in the deep purple color right here. These are ice storm warnings for the Quad State areas and a large portion of Kentucky. This is including portions of western Tennessee, even a couple counties in far northwest Mississippi, and a couple counties, quite a few counties in areas of Arkansas. Now, the reason you're not seeing winter storm warnings for areas of Arkansas is really because there could be a mixture of everything. So normally they only drop the ice storm warnings up when it's going to be straight freezing rain most of the time, and when their confidence is highest in a quarter inch of ice or more. So let's get going here because there's a lot to break down this morning. I want to remind you guys, if y'all guys got anything I can pray about, please put it in the comments below. You guys have really responded well with that, and I feel like there's been a lot of prayers answered, and it's great to take advantage of that. We all pray for one another, look out for one another, so definitely put it in the comments below. If y'all heard my kids in the background, they are extremely hyper this morning, so if you hear a very faint outburst, that's just my kids in that background getting ready for school and things. So here we go. Let's talk about the South Central U.S. This is for, remember, if you're confused about the timestamps in these videos at all, this is for 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, February 2nd. Notice we're talking about Central Standard Time because we're out in the Midwest and South Central U.S. So back this up 1 hour, but I'm still going to talk, kind of break down in general what time frame we're in. So this is for getting into the early afternoon hours this today, and we're getting going here, and we're going to talk about you folks also up here. Also, I want to mention, I know I'm everywhere in this video. This is what's going on right now. You got snow falling in Chicago, snow falling south of Chicago, and snow falling in Illinois, central Illinois. You jump over to St. Louis. Let's see if we can get this up super fast. Here we go. St. Louis. It hasn't completely switched over to all snow for you folks. And this is for what would be around 5:45 Central Standard Time for you folks. But it's starting to switch over to heavy snow for St. Louis after dealing with some ice overnight. This system is ongoing right now. It's not like it hasn't started yet. You're reporting some snow and blowing snow in Kansas City. So we're going to talk a little bit about you folks here coming up in a second. But we're getting into this afternoon. Secondary low pressure begins to develop. Arctic air continues to surge southeast. And then you have an explosion of moisture that really shoots up here in Oklahoma, even areas of Kansas, areas of western Texas. And you start out as heavy rain in areas of Dallas, but as you get into later this evening, more snow starts to move into Missouri after dealing with it earlier today. You might have a little bit of a break or a lull in areas of Illinois and Missouri this afternoon and evening, and then it starts to move back in. And then this is when it starts to move in for areas of Arkansas overnight tonight. This would be probably around midnight to 1 a.m. or so. Icy mix begins to move into Arkansas, northern Arkansas, the Ozarks, and then look at all this freezing rain and ice showing up deep into Texas, almost reaching San Antonio. In fact, those areas near Austin are under winter storm warnings right now, and y'all are going to be dealing with freezing rain overnight tonight into tomorrow. But freezing rain begins to break out in Dallas into the wee hours of the morning, and then y'all switch to sleet, and then you might wake up tomorrow morning for a brief burst of snow. But you back this up here And this is just a nasty ice storm overnight tonight into Arkansas, southeast Missouri, the entire Quad States area, southern areas of Illinois, and then it starts to move into areas of far western counties of Tennessee, and then it even starts to flirt with the areas of far northwest Mississippi, and then it might switch to snow for areas who see really just a damaging ice storm. But this definitely has the makings of a really bad ice storm for a lot of folks, especially where all these states meet in right here, the Quad States areas. I want to watch this area down here too as we're getting into Thursday late afternoon. There might be another enhancement of moisture that shoots up here that might, by this time the Arctic front's way down here, so almost all the way down to Houston. So you might have a period of freezing rain deep down in southeast Texas, well south of Dallas-Fort Worth for your late Thursday afternoon and evening. So watch out for that. There's moisture around. Sometimes this tends to overperform, so I would not be surprised to see freezing rain reports in Louisiana late tomorrow into overnight tomorrow night into Friday morning for areas of Mississippi. I would not be surprised for it at all. Let's go on and look up for you folks in the Midwest and Ohio Valley. This is valid for around 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You continue to deal with snow stretching from the morning hours to the early afternoon hours all the way through Missouri, through central Illinois. It looks like areas of southern Indiana, southern Illinois, and then most of Ohio as the cold front is still kind of slowly drifting southeast. We'll be dealing with just rain at first, but the northern half of these states in the Ohio Valley and Midwest will be all snow. Southern Michigan will be all snow, snowing like crazy this afternoon in areas like Detroit and northwest Ohio. As you can tell, that frozen precipitation line continues to sag southeast. And then there's going to be a brief break now. At first, we thought maybe this would be connected somewhere, but now that we have short-range model guidance coming in, sometime this evening, this afternoon, late this evening, you're going to have a break in Illinois and Missouri, including places like Kansas City, St. Louis, and surrounding small towns and counties. This will move on out. These will kind of connect somewhere probably later tonight into overnight tonight into Thursday morning. And then it restarts in St. Louis again. It's heavy snow. At this point, you're not dealing with any rain in St. Louis. You're not dealing with any ice. It's all snow. You got Arctic air entrenched into the area. And then once this enhancement of moisture comes in overnight tonight into the wee hours of the morning tomorrow, obviously you have the rain, snow, and sleet line that's then sag deeper into Ohio. So areas like Dayton, Ohio, switching from ice to potentially snow. It's pouring down snow in areas of Cleveland. Central Indiana is all snow, but you got an epic ice storm going on down here. And if you're wondering why we have ice, and I know a lot of people don't want to hear the scientific reasoning behind it, but I'm gonna talk about it a little bit briefly here for a second anyways. Arctic air is shallow, so you're thinking, okay, well, if it's in the 20s, why isn't it snowing? Well, there's so much more that goes into it, and what the temperature is aloft, up above our heads, is very important. So, at about 3 to 4 to 5,000 feet up in the air, the temperature goes above freezing. This is the 0 degrees Celsius line that shoots up right here, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So way up here, several thousand feet up in the air is well below zero, right? And then it starts to rise, and then, the warm air advection is shooting over this Arctic air. And Arctic air is shallow, which means all the coldest air is really at the surface when you're talking about the low levels. So the temperatures briefly go above, and not briefly, basically a long distance period in the atmosphere, go below freezing. So all the snow and sleet melts back into rain, and then it falls back into an area of much colder temperatures that are below freezing. But unfortunately, it doesn't have enough time to freeze back into sleet pellets, so you basically have rain falling in the 20s. That is freezing rain because at the surface it's below freezing. So if y'all got any questions about that and want to know more, I can definitely try to explain it in the comments. But we're getting into tomorrow morning, still a raging ice storm for these areas in southern Indiana, an area of kind of south-central Ohio, if you will. Deep down in southern Illinois, you're dealing with sleet and freezing rain. And then far southeast Missouri is definitely all freezing rain and sleet for a period. But then it gets into northern areas of Kentucky, and I really think this is when the Arctic front begins to kind of bog down and slow down and turns into an all-out freezing rain event for areas of southern Ohio. Y'all switch from rain to freezing rain, and then as we're getting into around afternoon hours, evening hours into tomorrow. It's all freezing rain for northern Kentucky, and this moves on out and might end as a period of freezing rain for West Virginia. We look at the latest HRRR model for the Northeast, and we're going through here. We're getting into the overnight hours, getting into the morning hours of tomorrow. Snow breaking out over the interior Northeast, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine. Buffalo, you're getting walloped with a ton of snow. This will be all snow for you folks. But areas like Pittsburgh, central Ohio is going to be a tough area to forecast because you'll have a layer of freezing rain, a period of sleet, and then an area that's getting all snow. And areas like Pittsburgh, I think, can start off with a long period of ice. But just maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes north of town, it's pouring down snow. It's going to be a tricky area for Pittsburgh. It really is. But I think either way, y'all will end as a period of snow. But I think the majority of the snow, majority of the event will stay mainly ice and freezing rain and sleet. But we'll see how that goes. We're getting into later tomorrow evening. I mean, you basically got an epic snowstorm going on for the interior Northeast. Nothing y'all aren't used to up there, but this will definitely be a long duration event for you guys of moderate to heavy snow. And then we get all the way into the last couple frames, and you have this rain finally shifting to some freezing rain in areas of western and northern areas of West Virginia. And we'll have to see how much ice they get. There's no winter weather alerts for this area because I think there's a big question mark. But we'll have to switch over to the GFS for this time frame now and see what happens here. And as we keep going into the 7 a.m. time frame, as we're getting into a Friday, the moisture begins to shift to freezing rain and sleet and ice, and probably will end as freezing rain and sleet for areas of New York City, northern New Jersey, Boston. Heck, might even end as a brief period of some freezing rain for Washington, D.C., and then it moves on out and might end as some light snow for everybody as we're getting into the evening hours of Friday. But as far as how much snow to expect, they've kind of increased the snow for a little bit for Dallas-Fort Worth, maybe an inch or two of snow. We'll have to see how that works. The reason you're not seeing crazy totals anymore in Missouri as far as like over 12 inches because some of the snow has already fell, right? So, but there's still, between now and the duration of the storm, well over a foot of snow for Illinois and Missouri. Nothing has changed with that. And here's a big reason why you don't have ice storm warnings up in much of Arkansas is because they're still expecting a period of snow. So in the Ozarks, several inches of snow are possible. Just west of Dallas, maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 to 5 inches of snow. The Panhandle of Texas, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of snow. Oklahoma City, you'll see sleet and freezing rain at first, but then you'll quickly go over to several inches of snow. Kansas City, several inches of snow. As far as the freezing rain totals, they're starting to predict some concerning totals in Dallas. But you got freezing rain showing up as far south as south central Texas now. And we have to watch to see how this trends. There's an area right here I'm watching where you could get a decent glaze after most of the moisture pulls through. But obviously you can tell in Arkansas where a big-time ice storm is going to set up well over a quarter inch of ice forecasted by the National Weather Service, not these models. The National Weather Service, these are the professionals, getting close to a half inch of ice. And then getting into the Memphis area is forecasting close to a half inch of ice in the Quad States areas where all these states mixed in meet. Big-time ice. And we'll get a little bit closer look at these areas. We're deep in southeast Missouri, northeast Arkansas, western counties of Tennessee, areas of western Kentucky, and then deep down in southern Illinois, an epic ice storm is going to be going on. I mean, this is going to, when you get over a half an inch of ice, if you got any wooded areas in your backyard, that's when you walk out and you can just hear tree limbs snapping. It sounds like a war zone in your backyard, and they start to fall on power lines. And the thing is these areas, especially in these northern fringe areas, this freezing rain is going to be falling in the 20s. So that basically means that it's going to be road issues. And sometimes when you have freezing rain falling at 30 to 31, 32 degrees, you don't have much road issues. You need really them temperatures to really plummet deep into the 20s for that become big time road issues for these areas. But nasty ice storm for this area. If you're in these areas, I do not blame you for going to the grocery store and flooding the stores, because if you don't have backup generators in this area right into here, into Arkansas, definitely just have a plan, guys, for basically power loss for long periods of time, and definitely move your car out of areas that are under trees and things like that. But nothing's changed with this, guys. The Ohio Valley is going to get slammed. We've talked about this for several days, well over a foot of snow for a lot of areas. But you look at the ice, there's a little bit of concern with the ice too, especially southern Ohio, even southern Indiana. But northern Kentucky, you guys are going to see some deep ice. There's a glaze showing up in West Virginia, and even predicted a glaze here in Tennessee from the National Weather Service. So watch out here. We just talked about the Quad States area. Getting into the Northeast, this will be a nice snow for you folks in the interior Northeast. It really will. Nothing y'all aren't accustomed to, but this will even be a big time snow even for you folks, especially for the ski resorts up here in the interior Northeast. New Hampshire, Vermont, New York State, upstate New York State, Buffalo getting over a foot of snow likely. And then, the entire northern half of Pennsylvania could see several inches of snow too after ending as a period. You will start as a period of ice is what I'm saying. But as far as freezing rain totals, now a glaze starting to be forecasted for areas like New York City and even Boston. We'll have to watch this, see how much this uptrends or downtrends. But Pittsburgh, you're really close to maybe a quarter inch of ice. So, a glaze predicted in areas of West Virginia. But the models have kind of went away from any kind of winter weather in areas of Maryland and far northern Virginia. They've kind of turned a little bit warmer, but things could still change. They're still good, I would say, 24 to 36 hours out before we really find out what's going to happen for that area. So, 16 minutes in. Thanks for being patient. I'm going to mention us folks in the Carolinas. There is still a chance. The overnight model and the morning guidance are really still talking about the chance for winter weather, but I'd tell you what, the GFS is kind of trended towards the Euro as far as more of a less amplified storm, but as we're getting this storm overhead over with, and I think I'm too far, I am, we're getting into overnight Saturday into Sunday morning. A low pressure develops here. It's a little small, compact storm. It's not large or huge. I mean, it's like the Pluto version of the storm happening right now in the Midwest. It's very, very small. But it does have a period, and it's weird. The precip types are really weird to me. It really is, but it has a period of moderate to heavy snow. This is one operational run. It's not really supported by the ensembles very well, by the way. It has a period of snow breaking out Sunday morning across areas of the central Midlands into the PD, upstate South Carolina into the Piedmont and a triangle of North Carolina. Then it moves on out, and that's it. You look at the European, it's a little bit different, right? The European has came a little bit further north, but the GFS has came a little bit of south, so they're kind of meeting in the middle. But this would be for early Sunday morning. You got a little bit of freezing rain, frozen precipitation breaking out in areas of the eastern Carolinas. But that's it. It lasts for about 6, 7, 8 hours, and that's it. Nothing. That's all she wrote. Ignore this. This is for the storm occurring that we just talked about. But check out this signal right in here. There's a little bit of a signal just for snow and frozen precipitation in general. What this does not show is ice. So the ensembles are not going to show ice. So very weak signal here. And I think if this event was to happen, I think that it would be a very small scale event. The European, even a weaker signal right here. So we're going to continue to monitor this because either way, the models have not went away from the idea completely of winter weather this weekend in the Carolinas. Even watch Virginia and North Georgia too. So that's all I got. Thank y'all for tuning in. God bless all y'all, and y'all have a great Wednesday.